Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, you're going to learn a three different app in a one single video and all from the scratch. Yes, all three different app in a one single video and that's all from the scratch. That's correct. First app going to be miles to kilometer. So what this app is about, if user do not enter any value and hit the convert button, it will throw the error message and that going to be custom error message in a RAID. And as soon as user enter input and hit the convert, error message will go away and it will convert into kilometers. The second app that would be quiz application where if user click on the show button, the browser will show the answer, and if they click on the hide, it will hide the answer. The third app that would be going to be lottery game. If user click on the start button, it computer will generate a three random number for the user and everything, all the app from the scratch. I'm so much excited. I don't know about you guys, you must be also so much excited. But if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe so you will get this sort of the cool videos. And let's get started. So let's start our first app, which is a mile to kilometer conversion. I already downloaded my Visual Studio Code, which is a code editor where you're going to write your code. If you want to use your other code editor, you welcome to use that. But I personally like Visual Studio Code, which is lightweight, and that's the depends on the interest. A link is in the description, so please download it. If you haven't used Visual Studio Code, so what you can do, first create a folder, and you can select that folder by click on File, open the folder. If you want to create a new folder, click on the new folder and provide some name just like app. Inside that app, I'm going to create HTML file, and that file would be mile to kilometer.html. As soon as you done or as soon as you save this file, there are few ways to create a boilerplate so you don't have to write the basic code for HTML. So shift and exclamatory mark and click on that one. It will create a boilerplate for you. Second option, write HTML and you have few options. Select on HTML colon 5. It's the same thing. It will create a boilerplate for you. Second option will work when you give the extension. If you don't have extension, it probably won't work. So let's change to the title and I would say mile to kilometer. Okay, and in the body I want to give some h1 tag and mile to kilometer. I want to see that in a browser there are few options. Right click on that HTML file, click on open in default browser so you can see the reflection in your favorite or I mean default browser. If you want to see these things in a other browser, then click on other browser and there are options. However, I'm going to use open with live server. What is a cool thing about that, you don't have to refresh at every time you save these changes. It will auto reflect over there. If you might don't have this option, so for that you're going to click in the four square where it says extension, click on extension. In a search bar, type live server, click on a live server, and you might have option install. I don't have install options since I already have installed, so that's why I have uninstall option. So do that one and right click on that one. And also there is another thing. Let's say if you don't want to open with live server, and even you if you don't have this option, in that case what you're going to do, click on a copy path and say and basically click on your favorite browser and paste over there. That's another option. But however, I'm going to use with the open with the live server. So click on open with live server and right over here. So what I want to display or what I want to tell about the cool thing about that. So what I mean, you don't have to refresh. So let's see if I want to write a p tag, right? And blah 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 whatever I write, as soon as I hit save or control S, it reflect over here. I don't have to do refresh every time over here. So that's a cool thing about it. But anyway, so that was the benefit of using live server. It saves a lot of time. Also, that dot, white dot means you haven't saved. And as soon as you hit save, it goes away. But anyway, so now in a body tag, I'm going to add my div. So div, not div, and I will provide ID, container, and inside that I'm going to paste my h1. I need input tag, so input, and I will give the ID. I will give ID as a mile. I need another input tag, so I will provide another input, and I will give the ID equal to kilometer. I will give my button, so creating a button, and I will give ID as a submit and convert, hit the save, and I can see it. Let's give some sort of the title. So I would say first would be mile. I would say here is kilometer, save. Yep, I can see it. So that's a good. And now I'll give some CSS. So let's do it. So I'm going to give the container. So right after title, create some script tag, not script, it's style tag. So actually better way to do it, like you create another file and you link that file, and same thing for JavaScript. But however, for simplicity, I'm going to write everything in a this file. That's not recommended, but for simplicity, I'm going to do it. So since it is a ID, so I'm going to use a hashtag container and use this height and 400 pixel. I would say width. Let's give 400 pixel and give some border, 3 pixel, not 3 pixel, solid. Let's give some black. Okay, give some h1 and text align center. So now it will be in the middle. Give some input. Uh, let's say give some background color. Let's give some blue. Okay, and text color. So color, and let's give white so we can see better since background is blue. And now margin from the top. Let's give some margin top 10 pixel. So it will move a little bit. Let's set some width is 80 pixel. Let's set height as 50 pixel, and let's give some font size uh, extra large. Okay, so that's good. Now let's set some button. So let's give some style to the button, and I'm going to set some style and height, I would say 40 pixel, width is 100 pixel, and margin from the top, let's give some 10 pixel. Okay, background color, let's give some tomato, and let's save. Let's make some dark, so yeah, that's better. Okay, and let's give some font size, so let's make some bigger. So font size, uh let's make extra large, and give some color color white. Okay, and give some break tag, so it will come to the bottom. Break. Cool. Give some margin from the left, 100 pixel. I think that would be enough. Okay, so now when you click on a convert, it won't do anything since we haven't added our script. So we're going to add our script. What we're going to do right after div, I'm going to add a script tag, and what we're going to do, we're going to need this ID. So how we going to do this? Document dot get element by ID. Why ID? Because we use the ID. If it is a class, we can if we provide a class, we can say get element by class name. If have a query selector, if you want to use, so query selector. So there are multiple ways to do it, but for this video we're going to do get element by ID. What is the ID? ID is mile. Why mile? Because we give the mile ID over here. It has to be matched over here, otherwise it won't work. So that's what we give, and now we store in the variable. So variable would be mile, and now same thing we want to do for the kilometer. So document dot get element by ID, and now what we give the name, we give km. So we say km, we can store in a km, and same thing with the button, we give the submit. We can do submit equal to document dot get element by ID, and we give name as a submit. Okay, so this ID has to match with the ID whatever we provided over here. This is the variable name, whatever you can give that name. So now what we can do over here, we can basically add event listener. So what we can say, submit dot add event listener. That's what we're going to do, add event listener, and we can say on click. So whenever they click, we're going to run a function, and let's test our spelling is correct, everything is correct, and I'm going to alert, and I would say hello. And so what does that mean? So, why it is submit? Because whatever we give the ID, we store that thing in a submit variable. So what we are saying, on that submit button, anyone is click, the function would be run, and whatever we write the logic in the function, that will be run as soon as they click. So let's click. So that must be something wrong in my spelling, and let me see what I made a mistake in my spelling. Add event lis, maybe te, so I forget e over here. That's why I always like to do alert. So that's how I know. Or now it's hello. So that's good. So my spell and everything is good. So it means that function is working, but we don't need alert. So I remove that one. So what we can do over here, now we can grab the km. So whatever the km dot value equal to, we're going to set that value with miles dot value. So mile dot value, and let's check. So now if I do 1 and hit on a convert, it should be over here. If I say 5, hit on a convert, and I can see 5 over here. That's good, that's working. But we don't want that, right? Because the mile is not equal to same as a kilometer, right? So what is the formula for that? We have to multiply. So I'm going to say multiply by 1.609344, and now if I say 1 and convert, it should convert. If say 5 dot convert, so it's converting miles to kilometer. But let's say if user don't enter anything, right, then what going to happen? The mile doesn't say anything and it says 0. We don't want that. We want to provide some sort of the error message. And how we going to do it? So first, right in a, after like our h1, we're going to make our h4 tag. Inside, we're going to use a span tag, and we provide id equal to error, and we're going to say over here, let's copy, and here says error, and I would say error as well as. What we're going to do over here, we're going to use if else statement, and that's where we're going to write. So if, what would be the if statement? If mile, so mile dot value equal empty, so user don't enter anything in that one, what we're going to do, we're going to say error, error dot inner text, inner text, error dot inner text equal to, and we can provide some error message, cannot be empty, else, and we're going to run this block of code. So our formula we can use in a else statement, and let's run it. So if I don't enter anything, it's convert, I mean it's throwing the message, which is good. As soon as if I hit 1 and convert, it's converting, however it's not removing the message. So what is the solution for that? I don't want that. As soon as it miles or my data would be good, that error message should be go away. The solution is simple. What we going to do, mile So I'm going to say mile dot value we're going to set as, or not the value, sorry, inner text we're going to set as a empty. So somehow it's printed over here, and we're going to set as an empty string. Hit the save and let's see. So if I don't enter anything, it says cannot be empty. If I click on a one, it convert and it's still there. And because of, it's not mile, it's error dot inner text. Okay, so and now 5. Okay, that's good. Okay, what we can do, since user can see properly, we can make that text so error, and now we set color as a red. So now user can see. Convert cannot be empty as soon as do 2 and it's printed. Awesome. Let me do 5 and it's printed. Okay, that's great. So we are done with our first app. Now we're going to move to the different app, which is going to be quiz app. Let's start with our next app. So I'm going to click on a new file and I'm going to give the name as a quiz.html. I don't want right now this. Okay, I'm going to create my boilerplate by using shift exclamatory mark. Now I don't need that. I'm going to change document to the quiz. In the body tag, I'm going to give my h1, which is a heading, and quiz app, quiz app. Going to save this, and I'm going to run. I don't want that mile to kilometer, so I'm going to remove that one. Open with live server. I don't want this. Okay, so my h1 is showing over here. I'm going to hide this. Okay, and now let's wrap in the div. So I'm going to create a div id equal to container, and I'm going to wrap my h1 inside the div. Control X, Control V. So I'm going to do that, and let's create few questions. So I'm going to use h3 for that. Heading 3, question 1. What is 2 plus 2? And let's give the answer, which is very tough answer by the way. P tag is 4. Let's copy paste and let's provide two more question. I'm going to change 2. What is 2 times 2? And answer would be 4, so I don't have to change it. What is 2 minus 2? Answer is 0, and I think that would be enough. And let's check here. Okay, I can see it. Okay, so yep, and give some button. So we going to create 2 button for here. So button, and I'll give id is equal to hide, and now we give the name hide. So value is hide. Let's copy, and now I'm going to paste here, and id I'm going to change as a show, and here I'm going to change as a so I have that button and everything. Let's give some styling thing. So I'm not going to waste much time. I have already my style element. So what I'm going to do right after title, going to create a style element. And again, I'm going to repeat that one because the better idea, you create a separate file and link over here. Same thing with the script. But for simplicity, I'm going to use uh, in the same file. So if I height I provided 400 pixel, width provided 500 pixel. I provided background color, margin from the left, so it pushes over here. Text align center, so that's how the quiz app, which is everything center. I provided border 2 pixel black, and the color which is inside, that's a white. So that's what it is. I'm going to p tag. I'm going to create p and color. That's going to be red. So p tag would be red. Control S. Let's make some bigger font size. So font size, let's give some extra large. Okay, let's give some bold. So font weight. So font weight and bold. Okay, let's better. Okay, so that's good. Now give some button. So height button, and that would be height would be, let's give some height as a 30 pixel, and width that going to be 50 pixel. Background color, let's give red, and color would be white. And let's see how our buttons look. Not bad. So let me copy here, paste for second button, and let's give for show instead of red, just change with the green. How about that? Hmm, that's fine. Okay, but when you click on the hide or when you click on the show, it won't do anything because we haven't added any script over here. Now we're going to use a jQuery for that. So what we're going to do, we're going to find some CDN, content delivery network. So jQuery, if I click on a jQuery, it is https jQuery.com. So click on a jQuery. By the way, I'm going to send a link in a description. So there are two ways we can use jQuery. Either you can download and you can utilize that, or you can use a CDN. So what we're going to do, click on the download. In this video, we're going to use a CDN. And when you scroll down and find CDN thing, so let's find it. So using jQuery with the CDN, so here is this, and that should be some visiting. Here is a link, https code.jquery.com. So click on that one, and jQuery 3.x, and click on a minified. So I click on a minified, and I'm going to copy to the clipboard. And what I'm going to do right after my div, I'm going to paste. So my script tag is over here. I don't need anything, so I'm going to close that. So my script tag is here over here. So I'm going to use another script tag. So script, and here we go. And now we are using jQuery. So how we're going to do? We're going to use a dollar sign, and here we say document. We're going to use a ready function, document dot ready, and I'm going to see function. So function parenthesis, and I want to test whether I did right or wrong. So what we can do, we're going to set up alert just like we did last time. I always make sure if I did right or wrong, or so as soon as we refresh, right? So it says hello. What does it means? When document is ready, load this function. So whenever the document is ready, then whatever the logic, right now our logic is say just hello. That's what we going to run, but we don't want that, so let's remove. But our function is running, that's what we know. So now we're going to select our element, so hide element, or what we're going to do again, the symbol is a dollar sign. We're going to say, so how we used to select our element in a vanilla JavaScript document dot get element by ID or something. Here we just say dollar sign. If it is ID, then hashtag, right? And we say hide. Why hide? Because we provided hide over here in ID. So hide dot click. So whenever they click on that particular element, so that's a button over here. So whenever they click, what going to happen? That going to happen, run the function. So that function will run. So whatever we write in that logic, that going to run. So they click on the hide button, click on hide button, they run the function. What going to function? We're going to select, right? What we're going to select? P tag. That's what we want to hide. And dot, it is an inbuilt function which is called hide. You can see here. And since it is a function, we're going to see parenthesis and save, right? So let me repeat. So first thing is document.ready function. So whenever the document is, the loaded or ready, then we're going to run function. Inside that function, we're going to grab our element hide, which is we provided for that button. So hide is this button. So as soon as someone click on that button, run the function. So what are the logic in the function? What is the logic? We want hide p element. So whatever the p tag, that's going to hide. So when we click our hide, boom, our p tag is gone. So what are the p element? Our answers. That's hide. When you click on the show, it won't show right now because we haven't added. Suppose this video, think how you can show this element by you know using whatever I use in hide. How you going to manipulate with the show? Suppose that video and try to do by yourself. And so you have done that one. So let me provide solution just in case you haven't done. So once again, dollar sign, and in the parentheses we select our tag and we say show. And what we're going to do here, dot click, right? So as soon as they click, what going to happen? Run the function. And once again the parenthesis, and what function actually you want to run. So I want my p tag. So whatever my p tag, dot, not here, dot show. And since it is an inbuilt function, I need parentheses. So now let's try it out if it is working or not. Hide. When we click on a hide, it's hide. When click on a show, it's show. Hide, show, hide, show. Oh, that's enough. But anyway, so you get the idea how we're going to create this type of quiz app. And you can add all sort of the question you want to add. This is like basic thing. You can manipulate some CSS and play with it. But I just want to show how you can utilize that one. And remember, if you haven't done that script tag, or you haven't added that script tag, which is jQuery tag, right? Then that function won't run. So make sure you have added that. And if practice with another app also, or try to make different app. So now when we're done with the second app, let's move ahead with the third app. So let's start with the third app. Hope you are liking my video, and I would like to remind one more time, if you liking my video, please share and subscribe. So let's move to the third app. So I'm going to create HTML. So click on a new file, and this time I give a random.html, and that's my file, explanatory, and random number, random number. I'm going to add my h1 tag, my h1, and I would say random number over here. I'm going to use my div element. So right after here, I'm going to say div, and I will give the ID to the container. So ID equal to container. I'm going to add my h1 to the container. So Control X, Control V. I would also like to add some my input. So input, and I would give ID equal to 1, and I'm going to copy paste, and one more, and I would say 2, and I'll give here 2, and going to change ID 3. I'm going to hit the save. I need one button, so I'm going to add my button. I'm going to give ID to the my button, and I would say submit. And let's check in my live server, and let's do it here. Okay, I didn't do it here, so say click. Awesome. And I would like to give some style, and so I'm going to create a style tag here. Style, and I'm going to use my container, and Control S. So that is big. Same, and 500 would be better. Okay, great. And let's do with my h1 element. So I'm going to say no, I think that's fine. Let's do it for some input. I already have so background, that's going to be blue. That's real big, but that's fine. Let's do it 100. Great. So background color, which is the blue, that's a blue color. So whatever the number will be generating, that's going to be that the white. The height and width would be 100. The text line center, so whatever the number would be, that would be in the center, and font size would be 150. That would be bold, and margin to the top. So from the top, that going to be pushed to the 10 pixel. That's what that mean. Let's do it for the button also. So I already have that CSS for button, and let's see how it's look like after this button. Oh, it's real big. Uh, let's do it maybe 80 pixel, 150. Font size would be 70, and let's do it. Let's give some break tag. So PR save. I think need a little less. So instead of 70 pixel, 40 pixel. Oh, that would be fine. That would be enough. I mean, I don't want to play too much with the CSS, but that would be good. If you click, doesn't going to work, as we know. So now, what we're going to do, we're going to create some script tag. So I'm going to create a script tag over here. Script, we don't, oops, not here. Script, I don't want home. Okay, so script, and now I would say variable one equal to document dot get. So this time we are not going to use get element by id. This time we're going to uh, try with a different thing. So document dot this time we're going to use a query selector. Let's try with query selector. Okay, and now we use id. So how this is going to work, we're going to use a hashtag and name of the id, which is a 1. So we're going to use a 1. In a first video, how we going to do it, like how we did it, document dot get element by id, but this time we are using a query selector. So let's do it with that way. So that's what we get some practice on this also. Variable 2 equal to, and we're going to copy paste here, and instead of 1 we're going to say 2. Why 2? Because we added id, and the hashtag because of the id. So that's a 2. We're going to copy one more, and here we're going to say 3. We need one more because we have submit and say submit. So now we have all our selector. Now we can go with our function. So we're going to create event on that submit button. So how are we going to do it? Submit dot add event listener. When someone click on that button, then we run our function, and as probably you know what I'm going to do, first I'm going to alert. So I just want to make sure there is no spell or anything like that. So as soon as I click button, okay, that's good. So it means my function is running. So I'm going to delete that one. What I'm going to do, every box is a different and individual. So I'm going to create a 3 more function out of it, and I'm going to call that all function in a this function. So how are we going to do it? So what I mean by this, I'm going to say function random one, and I'm going to run here, and I'm going to say, so when you want to deal with a random number, there is an inbuilt method, and it is math.random. So it is a math.random that will create a number between 0 to 1 except 1. So it's like 0.001, 0.02 or something like that. And if you want to see what I mean, console dot log, and let's try with this, and let call you over here. So random one, save, and I need inspect, and here we're going to see console we need some more here. So as soon as I click 0.58, 0.31, 0.79, good. So that's working. So now what we can do, we can multiply by 10, not 800, multiply. And now we can check one more time. So when I click, so now 3.29, now it's a 9.71, now 6.31. Good, that's good. So it's creating, but we don't want that number in point, right? We need the whole number. So what we're going to do, we can we can do one more thing. We can use another function which is the math.floor. So how are we going to do it? Math dot, and it should be floor. So FLOR. Let's wrap in a parenthesis and let's check. So when I click 4, that's a 4, 1, 6, 7, 7. Great. Okay, so that thing is working. So I'm going to delete that or close that one. So our random function is working, but we don't want console log. We want to show it here, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to remove console.log. Instead, remember we have that our ID, we have stored our ID in a number 1. So I would say 1 dot value value equal to math dot floor. Okay, and we're going to save. And now we click our function, and there we go. We get a 5. We click 3, 8, 6, 3. So every time when we click, every time it's generating number. So same thing we do for other two functions. So we're going to copy, we're going to paste over here, and instead of 1, we're going to say 2. We're going to create one more function, and here would be 3. It has to be called, so we're going to copy here, and we're going to paste. We're going to copy from here, so I want to any make mistake in spelling, and now we click. Haha, I made it mistake. Oh, because because I didn't change anything over here. I knew I'm going to make mistake. So 2, and here 3. So I'm going to add here 3. Now let's see. Yay! Now it's working. So that's awesome. So now every time it's generating number. Okay, now that's enough. So that's how you're going to create sort of the lottery game. So these are the three different sort of the app which you learn in one video. Hope you like it, and if you like it, please share and subscribe, and don't forget to subscribe my video, our channel. And thank you so much for being here.